Everybody, we're going to go ahead and call to order the special meeting for July 16th at 5:30 p.m. Going to go ahead and roll call.
Mayor Edgar.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kusamoto.
Here.
Councilmember Chirko.
Here.
Councilmember Hasselbrink.
Here.
Councilmember Murphy.
Here.
Alrighty, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to interview applicants for the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Arts Commission, and I'm going to turn it over to the city clerk, I think, and if you'd walk us through that.
Okay. As you mentioned, you'll be interviewing 3 applicants for the Parks and Recreation Cultural Arts Commission. This is for an unscheduled vacancy with a term expiring December 2020. So you have questions in front of you now. You'll just call up each applicant, ask them the questions, and then council can decide whether they'd like to vote at the end of the meeting or do it at another time. That's it.
Alrighty. If we just go in the order the way they're laid out here, first up would be Vanessa Ortega-Barge. Good evening, Vanessa.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Kusamoto, and good evening, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to be here today.
You're very welcome. So usually what we do is we allow you to make an introduction, kind of give us an overview, and then what we'll do is kind of go through a list of questions. So if you wouldn't mind, or if you want to pass on that, we can go right to the questions, but I'd like to give you an opportunity.
Okay. I'm an attorney. I am also a 5-year resident of the city of Los Alamitos. I'm a mother, and I have a young child, and we spend a lot of time at the parks. So this issue is very close to my heart. And so I will leave it to the council
Okay.
to go from there.
Good deal. We'll go ahead and start with Councilmember Murphy.
Thank you for coming tonight. I've often joked the worst part of this job is telling volunteers that there's not room for everybody. So if you are not selected, please keep your eye on the openings and try again. What special traits, characteristics, or experiences do you bring to the Park, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission?
So as a Latina and a mother, I would bring diversity and representation to the diverse community that compromises Los Alamitos. As a mother, I'm also very approachable, and people tend to open up about any concerns. And so I feel like I would be specially qualified to give voice to the community as a whole. As an attorney, I have the training and the expertise to navigate the rules and regulations that are required in order to implement policies, as well as the overarching vision that the council has for this wonderful city. I have extensive attention to detail, and as a small business owner, I also recognize the fiscal responsibility that comes with any of these positions, managing the budget and what is required within that. Finally, I have a background in community and cultural psychology, so the importance of these open spaces, these community spaces that give a space that is safe for our children and our family members to play in, as well as bringing the diversity and the cultural arts and the enrichment, is very important to preserving and helping the development and growth of our next generation.
Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Hasselbrink.
Hi. This question might be redundant, so we'll see how creative you are. Why do you want to serve on the Parks, Recs, and Cultural Arts Commission?
So as a mother, like I said, these parks are very, very sacred. I understand that we need to have these safe spaces to be able to help our children grow, not just culturally, but also to have some place to get outside and play and get away from their computers and meet their fellow schoolmates during summer vacations. There's many parks that I tend to visit in Los Alamitos, but my home park is Orville. And so having these events there is very important. The commission has done a wonderful job so far, and I would love the opportunity to serve my community. Part of my background at my law school heavily emphasized giving back to the community and making sure that you find a way to give back to your community that has fostered the growth of you and your children. And this would allow me to help preserve what the commission has already done. Thank you.
I'm going to ask the next question. What do you think is or are the most significant issues facing the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Arts Commission?
The commission has done, like I said, they've done a wonderful job thus far. And so part of it is continuing their spirit of excellence and their service. One of the issues that I would like to see is maintaining the diversity as well as giving voice to the community as a whole. We have a wonderful turnout to our events, and I would like to see that continue. In addition, I would also really like to see the senior community come out more to these events and maybe draw in some of our veterans or active service members, of which there's a huge component in Los Alamitos.
So what do you mean by diversity?
So Los Alamitos is very rich in terms of diversity. So we have people from all walks of life as well as different racial backgrounds. And so having everybody feel included and feeling comfortable to explain how they would like to see our parks and programs feel like home to everybody.
Do you think we have a problem with diversity right now?
I think right now it's very well diverse, and so I think it's very well represented, and I would like to see that maintained.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, in your own words, what do you feel the role of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission is in? What do you feel is the role of the commission in Los Alamitos?
So the commission is primarily responsible for being the intermediary between the community and the city council. Ultimately, it's the city council who does create the approval for programs. And being able to be that intermediary, be the voice for the community, and helping to guide and give the recommendations for future programs. And the maintenance of current programs is part of what is that role. So we would work very closely with the city council. It would also preserve the safe public places that would benefit our children and our families, and it promotes, which in turn would then promote the positive development of the individuals and the community as a whole, drawing everybody together.
Thank you.
Councilmember Turco.
Hi, Vanessa. When considering actions by the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission, how do you balance the best interest of the entire community against the likes or dislikes of yourself, your friends, or your neighbors?
So ultimately, individual opinions are exactly that. They're individual opinions. While they do form part of the whole, ultimately what always should rule is the best interest of the community and of the city of Los Alamitos. So as an attorney, I appreciate that and I understand that, and I wouldn't find that very difficult. That wouldn't be a difficult decision for me to make at all. Ultimately, it would be the city and the city council that would and the community. Those interests would always trump any individual opinion.
Thank you.
Good deal. Vanessa, do you have any other closing comments?
Thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, I would really appreciate the opportunity to give back to this community, which has already given myself and my family so much. And this wonderful council, thank you for all the work that you've done so far. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Next up would be Jonathan Kranz.
Good evening.
Good evening there. Hi there.
Hi.
So just same thing.
Same
You're
thing,
more than
okay.
welcome to make an opening statement, then we'll go through the questions.
Sure. It's Jonathan Kranz. I've been a resident here in Los Alamitos for about 5 years. I am a father. I'm a stepfather of 2 older children and a father to 1 younger child. We've enjoyed our time here in Los Alamitos, and we're here for the long haul, so I thought I'd try to reach out and become a more active member of the community.
Good deal. Councilmember Murphy.
Thank you for applying tonight. What skills, what special traits, characteristics, and experience do you bring to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission?
So I work as a construction manager. I'm a project manager, and I bring teams together. And one of the things that I think I bring to the table is the ability to be sensible, to be patient. As a coach of 5-year-old boys and a coach of 17 and 18-year-old girls, I've learned the value of patience in those aspects. In my work as a construction manager, I've learned not only how to bring people together, but also the fiscal responsibility of that. I now am in charge of estimating and pre-construction, where I have to plan out and estimate out projects and be responsible for those costs and schedules from day one through the end of the project as well.
Deal. Councilmember Hester.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
Now for the creative question again, why do you want to serve on the Parks, Recs, and Cultural Arts Commission?
For me, it's more about being an active community member, but also I see the community aspect of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission as really about bringing the community together. I value that. I value seeing people come together, disregarding any other opinions that they have, and coming together for the city, in the city, as a member, and enjoying their time together and having those opportunities given to them by this commission.
What do you think is the most significant issue facing the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Arts Commission?
For me, I think the biggest challenge of any commission in this aspect is providing different services for the community, is providing services for the entire community, whether it be the elderly or senior citizens, or whether it be for the young. I think we do a great job of providing for the young and for the youth of our community. I think I would like to see more that families could get together and more of the senior citizens participate in some aspects of the city itself.
Good. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, that's a good question.
In your own words, what do you feel is the role of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission in Los Alamitos?
For me, I think it's the eyes and ears of the community, having to evaluate, to advise, maybe even challenge at sometimes the council's recommendations, and be the, like I said, the ears and the eyes. And I think it's a well-balanced, the commission needs to be a well-balanced cross-section of the community. I think that is what we're going to see, and this is going to lead into the next question as well, but that's going to help us curtail some of those biases that we all sort of have all the time.
Thank you.
Councilmember Churko.
Hi. When considering actions by the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission, how do you balance the best interest of the entire community against the likes and dislikes of yourself, your friends, or your neighbors?
As I alluded to, I think everybody brings their own biases, whether it's how you grew up or how you raise your children or how many children or no children you have. But I think a good commission looks past those biases, and I think a good commission looks to the greater generation of the community. I said at the very end, I'm here to live here, not for 3 years, not for 5 years. I'm here to live here for as long as I foresee, and I want to be able to put those biases aside, and I think I can do that to see a better generation, a longer term generational view for the community itself.
Good deal. Jonathan, you have any other closing comments?
I do not. As I mentioned, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really here just to help the community out and see if I could be of help in any way.
Great. Thank you for your time. Next up, Scott Ross Dunnigan.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and apply for this position today.
Thank you. Yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and address.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have recently moved to Los Alamitos. My fiance lives here as well as I do now. I have 2 children, older boys, 11 and 14, and she has 2 younger children, a girl who is almost 7 and a son who is 9. So I think that between that and being here and just having a fresh set of eyes on Los Alamitos, I think it brings something new to the table.
Good. Thank you. I'll go ahead and start with you, Councilmember Murphy.
Thank you for coming tonight. What special traits, characteristics, or experiences do you bring to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission?
Well, I have a diverse background. I have been very active in a wide variety of activities in my past. I was a youth baseball coach with Pony and an umpire with Pony Baseball. I've been a board member on several nonprofits. I have my past work experience. Currently, I am own a marketing consulting firm. In the past, I was vice president of external affairs and marketing and PR for the Bowers Museum in Santa Ana. So I think that my work experiences blended with my personal interests of health, fitness, I run a lot. I'm part of an off-road search and rescue group. So I think all of those things combined together bring a fresh set of eyes and a different sort of look at the commission.
Thank you.
Hi, Scott.
Hello.
So why do you want to serve on the Parks, Recs, and Cultural Arts Commission?
I think that I can contribute to the success of the commission with my insights and experience. I think that it's different. I'm committed to keeping Los Al a fun, safe, and family-friendly city with engaging community activities for everyone.
Good deal. And what do you think is the most significant issues facing the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Arts Commission?
I think there are a couple issues. I think the biggest one, really, though, in my opinion at least, is that we're competing with numerous other recreational activities and have a fairly limited budget with flat revenues, as you probably are aware, with which to fund those programs. I think the second significant issue is just ensuring that the commission maintains a connection with and an understanding of the shifting demographics of the community. As somebody earlier mentioned, we have not as many families, we have a more aging population, things like that. So I think that we need to stay in touch with those things and try to be aware of those as the commission.
Cool. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So in your own words, what do you feel is the role of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission here in Los Alamitos?
The role of the commission is to support the city council with recommendations for leisure time activities, facilities, and services that are relevant to the citizenry of Los Alamitos. I think they just need to support the city council making good decisions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
When considering actions by the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission, how do you balance the best interests of the entire community against the likes and dislikes of yourself, your friends, or your neighbors?
Thank you. My personal belief should play absolutely no role in executing this position. The best interest of the community as a whole should be the most important aspect of decisions that are made by the commission. I think that's critical, and I think that, again, that comes from the committee and the commission knowing each other and really getting an understanding of what's going on of the community.
Thank you.
Good deal. So, Scott, do you have any closing comments?
The only thing I would say is thank you very much for the opportunity, and you have a tough choice with the three of us here. So good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn it over to the city clerk.
Okay, so before council on the dais, there's indications of support. If you would like to go ahead and fill those out and turn them in, I can let you know where the council stands, and then there will still need to be a motion and a second to appoint one of our applicants.
Let me look at those first.
Okay, so we have a tie with two indications of support for both Jonathan Kranz and Scott Dunnigan. So I will pass them back to you, and you can vote next to it. I'm going to cross out the applicant Vanessa Barch, who received one indication of support, and then you guys can just vote next to the name on the other side.
Okay.
Supposed to do our
Can you get like a bonus?
same ballot?
Yes.
Yeah, just put a vote of support by the one that you
that's
you
not
want
me.
the next time through.
This will be our same ballots?
This would
Yeah.
be.
No, you.
You want the same ballot?
Yeah, use your same ballot, please.
Okay, well, I didn't.
The check
Oh,
mark
that's
next to the name.
I guess this one says Murphy might be yours.
This might
So, let's just have mine.
That's a good hint. I didn't see the name on the other one.
we should hold it this way.
Okay, we have 3 indications of support for Jonathan Kranz and 2 indications of support for Scott Dunnigan. And council would still need to make a motion and a second to appoint.
I'll make a motion for the slate that's up at that point.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Great. Everybody that came tonight, thank you for participating in that process, and we want to congratulate our new commissioner. Thank you. In December. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit of the folks that did apply? There's some time coming up in December, actually, where there'll be other seats available too.
Okay. So we do have seats that come up on all of our commissions every December, and we'll start actively recruiting for those in November. At that time, I will reach out to all of our current applicants throughout the year that have applied and have not been appointed, and you're more than welcome to apply again at that time. There'll be quite a few more seats up at that time.
Okay, so that concludes our special meeting. We're going to go ahead and adjourn, and then we'll be meeting here in just a few minutes for our normally scheduled council meeting. Thank you.
Anybody Mendoza?